as possible sound-wise, so all sorts of things. But yeah, in my next project could be something totally different. I'm writing some cool things now that are very new to me. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm still coming up with them, but that's some fresh spaces for me, which is cool. Have you ever had a negative or traumatic performance experience? I have. Let's say traumatic. I had a performance not too long ago where I won't get into too much detail, but a family member of mine had a very hectic health scare in the audience, like 15, not even like 5 minutes before we went on stage. It was very intense. The same day, one of my band members, it was an out of town gig, one of my band members, Uber's broke down on the way to the airport, and he missed his flight, and we almost had to come up with some plan around that. Luckily we managed to get him a flight in last minute and get him into the sound check and stuff. But yeah, so my family member had this health scare, and with the rest of my family who was there, we made some calls, and the ambulance came and stuff, and we did play the show. It was all okay, but it was very hectic to get through that. And then during the performance, the load shedding started happening or something of that nature, so the whole hall and PA system started cutting out, and we were losing lights and electricity constantly. I lost count because I was in such a weird daze the whole show because of all these experiences, and we were losing lights and sound like probably about 3-4 times in the show, and then we'd come back on. So we kept going from being the PA to being acoustic, but half the instruments were plugged in, so you wouldn't hear them. It was pretty intense. Would you ever think of changing professions? I have before, many times, because being a professional musician is incredibly hard. And at this point, I'm not intending to, so yeah, right now, we'll see what happens. What do you think about making concerts more affordable for more people to come and watch? How can we make music more accessible? It's a great question. I think the main thing is that I think more sponsors could get involved. I think government could get more involved as well with helping. I've done more concerts than I can count around South Africa at all sorts of venues, and I can tell you how hard it is without any sponsorship of any kind. Like, there's so many expenses that go into putting a show on that it's really hard to not lose money. I've played a lot of shows with like a lot of people coming, selling tickets that aren't cheap and still lost money. So it's a very expensive thing to put on a show because of all the gear rental, the staff, the venues. It's not easy. It's a very important question, and honestly the main answer is just more people sponsoring it, whether it's brands or government. I'm just going to pause here and then continue with another one.